said that he doesn't need a chair. He got it like that.
Okay.
Do I look that old?
No, I'm the one who wants to sit down. I'm tired.
I can still fight.
Yes, he can still fight. Everybody, please welcome. We're not going to start anything that won't be nothing. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome legendary NASCAR driver and winner. Please welcome Donnie Allison, part of the Alabama gang.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, Jimmy, if we'll get a book up here, we want to bring the book up here and all that. Right now, as you all know, he's over there, he's signing autographs in this new book. We'll start off with that. Tell us about the book that you've got over there right now.
All right, I'll go back to the idea of doing the book. I was asked several times to write a book, and I really didn't want to do it because everyone I read, including my brothers, they're all crying in their milk about the third page. And I didn't ever cry. I did the best I could do, and I did a lot of things they said I couldn't do. I did some things they said I shouldn't do, and I didn't do some things I wanted to do. But anyway, I met this guy, Jimmy Creed, and he's also from Alabama, and he came up to my house and sat down and explained to me how he would like to try to write this book, and I liked the idea, so we did it. And I will say this, I'm bragging a little bit. The book came out. The very first day it came out, I got a phone call. And I looked on my cell phone, and it was area code 301. Well, I know a lot about area codes because I make a lot of phone calls. But 301, that's Connecticut. So I answered it, and the man on the other end of the line said, "Donnie, I've never met you." He said, "I am the president of ESPN, and I'm sitting on a bench in the airport in Los Angeles, California, finishing your book." He said, "I started when we left Connecticut, and I couldn't stop." He said, "Very fine book." That's a pretty good compliment, I think. And I kept my brother up all night, too.
You know what, Donnie, we have to talk about the infamous 1979 Daytona 500.
You have to, I don't.
Oh, come on, Donnie, let's talk about it. Look, you, your brother, and Cale Yarborough, all three of you together, thrust NASCAR into the national limelight like that one race, the first time that a NASCAR race was televised from flag to flag by CBS. Hall of Famer now, that he's going to be inducted this year, Ken Squire, was calling the race. And of course, also we learned a couple of things from that race. One thing we learned was all of us as race fans kind of knew about this, but those close to race fans found out of something about the slingshot that all you guys on these big tracks were familiar with. And Cale trying to pass you with that slingshot move, and the next thing you know, NASCAR is talked about all over the country because of you three guys.
Well, I'll not get into the particulars because then I'll have to make you out a storyteller. Anyway, that day, Cale and I were doing a fine job, and then my brother showed up and stole the limelight, as he always did. But anyway, we helped put a few people in the stands for NASCAR. We're very proud of that. Cale and I still know what happened. We can talk about it for another 100 years. It's not going to change. It's like I said to a lot of people, the son of a gun kept me from winning the Daytona 500. For the third time I should have won it, and I ain't won a damn thing yet.
You know what? I understand that back in 1967, that as a rookie, you had a shot at winning the Bojangles Southern 500. You led many of the races. Tell us a little bit about that particular race back then.
Yeah, that was in a Ford number 12, red and gold. Belonged to John Thorne. Mario Rossi was the crew chief, and I had that race won. And at that time, we ran right against the wall, not like you do now. You know, they had that one lane at the top, and the Darlington stripe was real famous. And anyway, it was very late in the race, and what you couldn't do is catch a slower car at a certain place coming off turn 4 at that time and back out of the throttle. If you did, you hit the wall. And what happened, I followed G.C. Spencer down the back. Well, I was pretty good ways away, but I caught him in the middle of the corner, and we both got in the throttle pretty hard, which was normal. And he jumped out of the gas all of a sudden, and I backed off and hit the wall. and it knocked the battery out. At that time, we ran the batteries up in the front of the cars, and it knocked the battery out and put me out of the race. For the people that haven't been to Darlington, you're going to see the greatest thing you've ever seen. It's the fabulous racetrack that runs NASCAR races, out of all of them. It was always my favorite. I couldn't win there for some reason. I run second and run third. Led, I don't tell how many laps. 5 races in a row in the Hoss Ellington car, I should have won, and I didn't win any of them. That was 2.5 years worth. Got out of the car, got in a disagreement with Hoss after the 79 Daytona race and all that. And David Pearson gets in the car and wins the race, and he called me on the phone and said, "Donnie, that was your car." Just like, I ran it. And I mean, it made me feel good, and I'm proud that they won the race. It just wasn't me. It should have been.
Why don't we talk about a couple of the races you did win? Because you won a handful of races. I mean, you were out there just churning away and winning at many of the tracks too. So talk about a couple that stand out right now today.
Well, probably it would have to be Charlotte Motor Speedway. When I won in 1970, I ran 4th at Indianapolis the week before that, or after that, and that was quite a weekend for me to run 4th at Indianapolis and be Rookie of the Year there, and then win the World 600, the Coke 600, whatever they want to call it. Charlotte was really, really good to me race-wise, but it also was where I got hurt so bad, and it's just ironic that happened. But I won a race in Atlanta. They tried to give Richard Petty, and after a big fight, we finally got that straightened out. But I won the Firecracker 400. I won qualifying race at Daytona. I could not win the 500, and I couldn't win Darlington. Now those 2 races, why? I have no idea. I love Darlington better than any racetrack we ran, and believe me, today is still the best racetrack we run.
Over the last 3 years, we've been doing this throwback theme where we've been honoring paint schemes from back in the day. This year, Jamie McMurray in the number 1 is honoring your number 1 car, the Hawaiian Tropic Machine, coming up Sunday in the Bojangles Southern 500. Your thoughts about this throwback deal and honoring you guys?
Well, Hoss Ellington's daughter called me about that, and I talked to Chip Canassi at length, and there was a little bit of a problem trying to get to use the name Hawaiian Tropic because it doesn't belong to Ron Rice anymore. He sold the company. If it was his, it would have been done in a heartbeat. But anyway, the liability was pretty great. But they have agreed they're going to run the number 1 on the side like I ran. That's the white number 1 with the star in the top of it. That was our number 1. Hoss Ellington's number 1, and I'm proud to see that. It really makes me feel good, and I can deal with Carla Ellington. Hoss is her name, not Ellington now, but for wanting to honor her father because he was a big time racer. Now he was a lot of fun. He used to be accused of being the clown of racing, but that man was very sincere, and he gave me an opportunity to win races in a good car. I can tell you that.
Quick question for you. First of all, you're mighty handsome. We appreciate that. But I wonder, what does it feel like to be in the car seat of a car that's flying around a track going so very fast? What's the adrenaline like? I guess you had to actually sit in there. We may never get to experience anything like that. What did you love so much about it?
Well, if you were in there a long time at Darlington, you were sliding around in sweat. And sometimes it wasn't too comfortable.
I hear that the centrifugal force just kind of like pushes you against the seat and stuff, and you can actually lose weight while you're actually in the car. Is that so?
Oh yes, very definitely lose some weight. I didn't have a whole lot to lose, but I'd lose 5-7 pounds race like at Darlington, and it was very, very hot. People cannot imagine how hot it was. I'm really glad they moved the race back to September and let some of these young bucks get an idea. They're not going to get a full idea because they got so much more stuff to protect them now of what we went through back in the day. It got so hot in our cars sometimes you could not put your feet on the floorboard. You had to hold them up or set them on the pedals.
But when you crossed that finish line, that was the best feeling. It was worth it all, wasn't it?
All that other stuff went out the window, honey.
I love it. I love it. All right, you guys.
All right, everybody, once again, let's give a big round of applause for legendary NASCAR racer, Mr. Donnie Allison. The book, of course, is called Donnie Allison. As I recall, he's written this book with Jimmy Creed, who is right down here, too. The forward, by the way, is legendary crew chief Larry McReynolds. And having Larry McReynolds write the forward and, of course, teaming up with Jimmy had to be a wonderful honor.
It was really, really an honor. I'm very proud of it, and just to let people know, that in his hand is out of the 6th printing of that book, and no other ones even come close. We have a few over there, $25. We have some good Alabama gang hats. We don't have many. They're $25. We have some family postcards for people that hadn't seen them. We've got everybody: Hut, my son-in-law, Hut Strickland, Bobby, me, Kenny, my oldest son, Ronald Dahl, my twin, and Clifford and Davey in it. So y'all come by and see us.
Once again, everybody, give it up for the legendary Donnie Allison.